So, hi everybody. You're very welcome along to this Ayurveda webinar. My name is Noel O'Neill. I'm director of the Ayurveda Centre in Ireland. I can see all the people that are online. I recognize a lot of names, people from our Ayurveda family. So, you're all very welcome along. There are a few names there that I don't actually recognize. So, hopefully, there's some new people joining us this evening. I did do quite a bit of advertising of this webinar because I felt it was very important on Facebook and on YouTube as well. So maybe we have some new people. So maybe just before we start, I'll do a very brief introduction to Ayurveda, and then I'll do an introduction to our great Vaidya, Dr. Rajvinder Kaur, who's going to give this presentation. So Ayurveda is made up of two words. Veda means knowledge. So people may have heard of the Vedic tradition of knowledge. So the word Veda means knowledge, and Aryu means lifespan. So Ayurveda is the knowledge of lifespan. It's one of the world's oldest and greatest traditions of healthcare. And fundamentally, it sees health in terms of balance and ill health in terms of imbalance. So, it's in the word disease anyway, someone suffering from a disease, it's dis-ease. The system is no longer at ease with itself. So Ayurveda is all about maintaining balance within a person's life through diet, through lifestyle, through exercise, through herbal preparations, through detoxification, through many, many different modalities. I suppose the one thing that makes it really unique is that Ayurveda recognizes that what suits one person is not necessarily what suits another person, that we all have different natures and different things suit us. So we know people who are very hot-headed, they get angry very quickly, they're very impatient. We know people who are more ponderous or slow to get angry. We know people who can eat all around them and they don't seem to put on much weight. We know other people that, people complain that they put on weight very easily. Some people are slow thinking, some people are very quick thinking. So we all have these different qualities, and certain things in our lifestyle and in our diet will take us out of balance. And once we go out of balance and start going against our nature, gradually stresses build up in the system, and eventually they manifest themselves as diseases. So Ayurveda has a great way of helping us to determine what our nature is and what's good for us and what's not good for us. I'm going to come back to that a bit later on. We have a wonderful Ayurveda course, a 7-lesson course that you can do that's available free of charge, and I'll show you where you can get that. So this particular talk this evening is called Tips for Healthy Aging. So we're all getting older, no matter what age you are, we're all getting older. So, and especially we probably don't think about it when we're in our 20s, 30s and 40s, but maybe as we start to go into our 50s, 60s and 70s and maybe things start going a little bit wrong, or we start noticing aches and pains, that maybe we begin to think a little bit more about it, The earlier we can think about it, the better. But Ayurveda it recognizes that the later stage of life is certain qualities to that state of life, and there are things that we can do to help maintain balance. And we know the things that are more likely to go out of balance. There are a lot of diseases that are associated, generally with elderly people, like dementia and arthritis and Parkinson's and things like this. Not exclusively, but they tend to be more in the elderly people. So we're going to be looking at things that we can do in our diet and lifestyle to help stave off these things or hopefully prevent them altogether. Our guest speaker tonight is Dr. Rajvinder Kaur. In India, where Dr. Rajvinder is from, to become an Ayurvedic doctor, it's called a BAMS. It's a Bachelor of Ayurvedic Medicine and Surgery. It is a 6-year degree course, which Dr. Rajvinder completed many years ago, and then she worked in hospitals and worked in clinical settings. She came to Ireland in 2007, and she's been an integral part of the Ayurveda Centre in Ireland. She's one of the cornerstones of it at this stage. She's consulted with thousands of people. She's done lots and lots of courses. She does our cookery courses. She does lots of webinars for us. She's very, very knowledgeable around Ayurveda and helping people. So I'm going to hand over to Dr. Rajvinder, and Dr. Rajvinder, you can go ahead with your presentation.
Thank you, Noel. Thanks. Welcome, everybody, all the Ayurveda family and the new people. So as Noel said, today's webinar is about tips of anti-aging. So I'm just gonna give a very brief introduction. So some of you who are new to Ayurveda, I encourage you to look at our 7-lesson course that will help you to understand a bit more. So in this webinar, I'll touch it a little bit, but focus a few tips like how we can help this age of life. Usually, this knowledge is very good because Ayurveda is a prevention model. If it reaches out in a very young age, so we can prevent a lot of issues down the road. So I'm sure it's not late. You can always start whenever you're starting. So it's always helpful to add a bit of more self-care and a few other things that I'm going to discuss. So I'm going to share my presentation and I'll take it from there. So, Noel, can you turn on?
Yeah, you should be able to, you can share your screen.
It's you say it's not turned on, so sorry,
Okay.
something.
Yeah, you can share now.
Yeah, thank you. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Perfect. So as Noel said, the theme is about anti-aging. So I just kind of focusing more. We could be, this phase of life is like older adults, and we could be joyful and healthy if we just mind ourselves a little bit more. Like as when we are children, our parents mind us more. So this phase of life also asks for a little bit more kind of tuning in with yourself and minding yourself a bit more. So we shouldn't really accepting the pain and limitation of this phase of life unless yeah, it is something very deep already settled in the system, and how to manage that. Ayurveda help with that as well. But how to keep these pains and other, because this phase of life we slow down and cope mechanism with stress and mobility issue, these kind of things are more settling in. So the knowledge of Ayurveda help us to manage this phase of life better. So Ayurveda help us to come the aging with a little bit of a slow pace, because aging can happen untimely before time, like gray hair, or especially in women as well, early menopause, and because of that, some issues can settle in a kind of a very early in their 50s rather than 70s or 80s. So this is Vata phase of life. I'm going to touch that. What's that mean? So as we all know, our medical system is important as well for diagnosis, for screening. But Ayurveda say this phase of life, rather than focusing more on the disease concern, it should be more of a health concern. So let's just try to have this phase of life more joyful and focus more on our health, and be a bit more aware about the self-care. Okay, so the slide move now, yeah? Next slide. Yeah, perfect. So what is Ayurveda? I'm just going to quickly explain it, but more detail is in the self-care course, and there are a lot of information available out there. So Ayurveda is made up of two words, which is Ayu and Veda, if you split it. So Ayu is life and Veda is knowledge. So Ayurveda is a model that was established roughly 5000 BC at this stage now. And it is all about like knowledge about life, how we should live according to, it is the main principle is based on your body type. So Ayurveda kind of say our body is made up of the five elements of the universe, and you have a very unique body type, and you should know that what is your body type. And then everything it revolves around that, your diet, your lifestyle, your herbal recommendation, anything, it is based on that particular element that is more dominant in you. And it was revealed through consciousness. And in the ancient time, we didn't have medical system and anything. So this knowledge was very kind of tested and still kind of eligible. And it is practiced more than 50 countries at this stage. And it is fully recognized by World Health Organization. So Ayurveda is a very much established system of health system in India and other countries. So Ireland is coming behind. So hopefully in a couple of years, we will have more facilities here as well. So Ayurveda kind of talk about not only different body types. As I said, Ayurveda say our body is made up of the five elements of the universe. So it says you are in a different phase of element. When we are a kid, it's more about growth, which is kapha, and kapha is about earth element. So a child is more of a earth element phase of life. So it's all about growth, and so that's why children would have more kapha issues like mucus problem and that kind of stuff. But then as we move towards puberty, the middle age of life, that's more fire phase of life. So that's why we are ambitious. We are able to digest bigger meal. No major issues related to sleep or energy. We are mostly doing well in that phase of life. As we move towards transition, especially in the women from 40 to 50 to menopause towards 60. That is more degeneration phase of life in both genders. From here, slowly the oxidation is happening more often. Our tissues and our cells are kind of having less energy, and we started to feel a little bit of fatigue or insomnia, these kind of problems more 50 onwards. So Ayurveda say that is Vata phase of life. So it is like three phases of life, Kapha, Pitta, and Vata. And so this model is called Tridosha, which is like three body types, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And so Tridosha, they play a very important role in the maintenance of cellular health and longevity. So once we understand what is my dosha, dosha means your body type, and then you know what functions they are doing in the body. And by tuning in with yourself, if you see a little bit difference in your physiology, like, oh, today you had more phlegm or you have a bit of an upset stomach, so you will know, oh, I have more vata in my digestive system, or I'm having a more pitta in the form of heartburn or something like that. So then you understand the theory of Tridosha, the three elements which are happening. The five elements are narrowed down to three, and they are playing different roles in your body. So as I said, Kapha is more about growth, the structure, this beautiful skin, this oil, lubrication, and everything. And that helps with to have a good immune system. So Kapha helps with immunity, and in Ayurveda it is called Ojas. And then Pitta, which is the fire element, it helps with the digestion and nutrition and all the assimilation of nutrients. And then the Vata, which is more dominant in the later phase of life. And if you are a Vata person, then you have to be very careful in this phase of life, because first you're Vata by nature, you're more dry, you're more cold, you're more kind of less bone density and all of that. So when you're coming to this phase of life, then you have to more self-care and more strategy that don't make you more dry, don't make your bone density to go down a bit more, doesn't affect your digestive system and stuff like that. So these are the ojas and tejas, and vata is also related to prana, which is the breathing, the mind, and everything. So that's why the mind is more affected this phase of life. So then Ayurveda say proper diet, proper exercise, like daily routine, proper cleansing or nourishing treatments, and then herbs. All these things can create a wonderful balance in all these three elements in your body, and then you can have a very happy and healthy this phase of life. You can be more joyful and more healthy. So this is like a balance is the key. Ayurveda is like, it's all about balance. So you could be any phase of your life. Once you understand who you are according to your body type, and then you know yourself so well, a little bit disturbance, you understand it, and you quickly bring the balance back, either through sleep or stress management or movement, exercise important, nutrition, and then the walking in the nature, connecting in the nature, and the supplement. So you see this pyramid, more importance is given to the sleep. So in Ayurveda as well, sleep is a big pillar of your health. So you should be sleeping very well, especially this phase of life. Sleep should be very good. And most of you can kind of witness that, yes, sleep is not good when we turn 50 and 60. So if you want to be more joyful, happy, and healthy, older adults, if you're in that phase of life, then focus on the sleep. That should be the first thing. And there shouldn't be much stress in this phase of life, because most of the responsibilities are done, and we should be focusing more on what we really wanted to do, we couldn't do in the earlier phase of life. So why not join the dance class or painting class or anything that you really wanted to do, and keep the stress low as much as possible. We all have stress, but it's all about how we manage the stress. So at this stage, you should be more able to cope with any stress that's there. Movement is must. You should be doing some form of exercise. We're gonna touch that later on. Good nutrition, a good, well-balanced, nutritious, dense diet is important. And then spend time in nature, social, family, friends. And then there are certain supplements which are important this phase of life. But if your diet is very nutritious, you're doing enough exercise and sleeping well, then you don't need a cocktail of supplements. Just a one or two probably be enough. Okay, so I'm just going to spend a little bit minute or two on this slide, because I put a lot of information. As you can see, the picture of this older adult. So this is more Vata phase of life. And what is Vata? What are the qualities of Vata? Some of you who are connected with Ayurveda family and are students of Ayurveda as well, you will understand this very well. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it. So Vata is air. Air is Vata body type is made up of air and space element. So Vata people have more air and space dominance in their body. So air is cold, air is dry, air is light, air is quick, air is rough, and air is irregular. These qualities are more dominant in this phase of life. Some of people usually become light body weight, and people lose weight easily in this phase of life, and that's one of the recommendation even from your dietitian or medical system as well. It's better to have a bit of more weight on the body rather than losing weight, because loss of muscle mass, loss of bone density, sarcopenia, all that kind of settle in this phase of life. So Ayurveda does not encourage strong cleansing detox treatments where you lose weight. So you should not lose too much weight in this phase of life. And then anything that is like too much of a movement, stress, go, that shouldn't be here, because that's increasing vata. And then dry, healthy fats, we should consume healthy fats in our diet. And cold as much as possible, stay warm food, less like fizzy drinks or cold drinks or icy drinks or too much of cold salad and stuff like that, unless the weather is quite warm outside. So these are the like some of the qualities of the vata. And Ayurveda say like increase like, and opposite is the balance. So advice is to go opposite of these qualities if you want to maintain the vata. And especially if you're a vata person, then you really pay more attention to these qualities in the diet and in the lifestyle. So lifestyle means you don't overdo exercise where you become more spacey and more lighter, or you should try to be more regular with your sleep time, your eating time, your exercise time, because for Vata people, routine is the key. So it's a phase of life where natural dryness in joints, cold circulations, bad circulation, cold hands and feet, irregular bowel movement, irregular sleeps, busy minds, insomnia, these kind of patterns set up very well. We are familiar with this kind of patterns in this phase of life. So to manage those patterns is go opposite to these qualities. So even just like having a more warm food in the evening time, or having enough kind of a decent movement according to your energy or stamina, then your sleep shouldn't be a big problem. So, so Ayurveda say aging on time and aging before time. This kind of aging can happen. So how to avoid, slow down the natural aging and how to avoid premature aging. Ayurveda focus on daily routine, which I'm going to show in the next slides, night routine, and then seasonal routine, because these Vata, Pitta, Kapha not only are operating in your life cycle, they are also operating through the day, through the season. These kind of movement of elements happen around the cycle of the sun, really. So when sun is high in the sky, it is more fire time of the day. When sun is setting, it is more cold and that little bit damp time of the day. So they are different. So that's called circadian rhythm. So I'll show you that a little bit later. But if you want to learn more, do spend more time on the circadian rhythm and have your daily routine, your eating, your exercise according to with the alignment with the nature. So these measure of daily routine and seasonal kind of regime, behavior and ethical consideration is given in Ayurveda, and then some Rasayana in the form of tonics, in the form of herbs are there. So these different measures can really help to delay the process of aging. So the focus is more to manage vata, manage air and space, lightness, coldness, dryness in the body. So air is light, cold, dry, and overthinking can create too much space in your mind where you find it difficult to go to sleep, to calm your mind. Usually, Vata people say, oh, their mind never shuts up. There's too many thoughts in their head. They go into circle. The person say, oh, I keep on thinking about particular thought. So then it is too much of space in your mind, which you need to ground yourself with some of the recommendation that I'm gonna show in the slides. Right. So, what are the practical strategies that Ayurveda help? Daily routine. Ayurveda talk about the circadian rhythm. As I already said, sleeping, eating, exercising around the cycle of the sun. Your main meal, that is something that we used to do, but we are not doing. But it does kind of help when I recommend my patients and then they report back, say, oh yeah, it really is helping me. So if you can eat your main meal in the middle of the day, because your digestion is stronger in the middle of the day, you can digest, you're active, rather than sleeping, eating too heavy near the bedtime, then of course your sleep is not going to be very good. So bedtime, Ayurveda says, should be you go to bed by 10 and up by 6, and a little bit nap if you're tired and not getting deep sleep in the daytime, or especially in the autumn time, it's no harm having a little nap. And exercise time is usually 6 to 10 a.m. or 6 to 10 p.m. That is the kapha, the damp time of the day, sunrise and sunset, but change according to your strength and according to your schedule. So yeah, it is something which could be is a little bit flexible according to your what's happening in your life. Meditation, if you can do twice a day and focus on calming your nervous system. If you feel a little bit stirred by some news or something happen, try to ground yourself immediately. Don't let it linger on for too long, because then that disturb your whole kind of chemical system around the brains, which put you on fight and flight too much, and then you can't sleep for days, or then whole system is disturbed. And it is important this phase of life to get your regular blood tests for any deficiencies or stuff like that. So check up with your GPs, and if you have a Ayurveda practitioner, you also do seasonal checkup with your Ayurveda practitioner as well for any change in your physiology or anything that you're not sure of. You should do the checkup. So that's kind of some practical strategies. But because of the time shortage, I'm not talking too much detail about the circadian rhythm and all that, but there's more information in our free lessons, which Noel mentioned. So this is something I thought the daily routine is the morning ritual is very important. If we can do some of it, it helps to calm the mind, and it also helps with the gut health as well. So as I said earlier, if you go to bed by 10 and up by 6, maybe it's slightly difficult to up by 6, even you're up by 7, that's no problem. You're still waking up with the sun. And first thing, if you have a very healthy gut and a regular bowel movement, so you should be eliminating going to the toilet. And then next you focus on your oral hygiene, where you kind of scrape your tongue and you do oil pulling. Oil pulling is like, instead of a mouthwash, you use oil as a mouthwash, which not only refine your taste bud, it's also help to strengthen the gums and teeth, because this phase of life, the oral cavity, these decay of gums and teeth is very much common and too much bill on the dental clinic and all that stuff. So if you start oil pulling at an early stage, then you can avoid a lot of cavities and a lot of gum issues. Nasya is because this phase of life, the memory is something, the foggy brain is something that happen. So if you have practice of putting a drop of oil, 1 or 2 drop of oil into your nostrils, that's also help to not only clear your sinus, help with the hay fever, but it's also help with the memory and all that. That practice is called Nasya. And this all could be done while you're brushing your teeth and all that. And then next thing, before you drink any tea or coffee or anything, sip a glass of warm water. And if you are already practicing self-massage, because as I said, this phase of life, the dryness is very much common. Dryness set up in your joints. So oiling is something that Ayurveda suggests that we should do self-oiling daily if possible. Otherwise, once or twice a week, we should kind of put oil. You can use normal sesame oil, or there are other oils, like according to your constitution. You might be a very warm person, then you can use a cooling blend of oil, a simple plain coconut oil or pitta oil. Or if you're struggling with the weight or something like that, then you can use more stimulating oil, calf oil. But in general, the main oil is sesame oil, which is high in calcium, and it is very good for nourishing your bones and joints and muscles and skin. And so that's something I rather recommend. It's not only improve the blood circulation, but it also stimulate the lymphatic system. And then you should do some movements like yoga. And if you are a TM practitioner or any other meditation practitioner, then followed by meditation. And now you start your day. So that's something that you get up at 6 or 7, and then you have a morning routine. And this morning routine really sets you for the day. And it helps your joints to be a little bit less stiffer, because sometimes people have some arthritis issue. They get up in the morning, they're stiff, and it take a little time for them to get going. So when you're doing these kind of practices like self-massage and some gentle yoga, drinking a glass of warm water, your joints starting to feel better and better and better, and then you have less stiffness. Okay, but if there is something more going on, yeah, I suggest that you check with your practitioner. Okay, so that's like a general daily routine recommendation, then Ayurveda suggest. And then I was talking about the self-massage, so not going deep into that. But this phase of life, the lymphatic system is something that we also pay attention to, because lymphs are like the water, the garbage of our body. They all the toxins, all the metal stuff and everything the body dump into the lymphatic system. And they're like a cleaner. They go around the body and pick up the toxins and bringing back to the back into the to the major venous system, and then pump back to the heart, and then heart clean it with oxygen and all that. And the lymph kind of move against the gravity. The movement of lymph is from down to upward. That's why we have to pay more attention to the limbs, like the circulatory system. The heart pump the blood from up to down, which is slightly easier. But if the limbs are pumping down to up, it is a little bit more effort for the body. So we can assist the body with this to clean our system better, to detox our system better. So if we just pay, like, these are the major 6 lymphatic system I have circled red in the picture. If we just pay attention to those 6 major lymphatic system. So I know some of you are already doing self-massage, which is long stroke over the muscles and circles over the joints. So let's say you're massaging around your shoulders or clavicle. So 2 major sets of limbs are here. So one is if you say from your jaw to the back of the neck. So if you just kind of do this kind of movements, so like you can do 10 times. So that's you're working on your one of the major lymph here, which clean the toxins from your brain, because all the spinal fluid and everything kind of moving around that area. And then the clavicle bone that you see here. So if you just put your fingers like that, and above and below. So even just doing, you can do both at the same time, or you can do one by one, whatever way, or you can just use all fingers. So you just kind of put a little space between your bone and go like up and down 10 times. No pressure. We should never put too much pressure on our limbs. Very, very gentle movement. They just need a little stimulation. That's it. And then your armpit, that's the 3rd set of lymphatic system. We all are familiar with that, especially for the ladies, for the health around the breasts and everything. So put your hand around the axillary armpit area, and again, very gentle, no strong pressure, nothing. And this is the way, if you feel that your lymph nodes are slightly swollen, or if you feel any tenderness, then you kind of do it regularly and see if it's going away. If it's gone away, fine. That was just, it needed a little bit of reset from you, and that's it done. If it's lingering on there, that's something you go and get checked. Sometimes people feel lymph node here, they feel some swelling and it's not going away. That's also, you keep an eye. That could be indication of something deep settling into the system. Right, so one from behind the ear, jaw to the back of the skull. 2nd, clavicle bone. 3rd, your axillary. So you have done like 3 sets. The 4th set will be around your belly button. So you can put your hands like that, and you go into circles around the belly button. So you can make small circles around the belly button first, and then you can turn into the bigger circle. So you're kind of massaging your whole liver area, your intestine area, and because there are some other lymph nodes there, but we are only targeting mainly the navel. So if you go around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that's it. You can do it in the shower as well. While you're showering, you just kind of, while you're putting soap, you just kind of say these major 6 area. And then the 5th set, you can see the inguinal, where your hip and thighs meet in between. So you can put your hands and go up and down around the inguinal area. And again, for some people, these set of lymph nodes are very, very sore. And this could be something posture related, or the spinal fluid, bulging disc or something like that. I have seen that in people. And then the 6th set of lymph nodes are behind your knee, popliteal area. So that's not on the top of knee, even though I've circle on the top, that's in the back of the knees. So you bend a little bit and your hands kind of go on the back, and you just kind of make a little circle. Or you can even tap. You can do a little bit tapping, because that's easier on the back of the knee. So that's your major 6 lymphatic system. By doing that, you should feel lighter. Some people have lymphedema, cellulitis, or a fluid around the ankle and things like that. So for those high blood pressure, due to high blood pressure, the edema, a swelling in the legs happen. So stimulating your limbs in this gentle way, it will be very beneficial to deal with those conditions. Or if you don't have any problem, in general, doing these practices once a week, it helps to keep your garbage system moving, and it keep your system clean. Because 70% of our body is water, and these are our water channels in the system. And we are just stimulating our water channels to move upward. And when you do yoga, when you do movement, it also, you're giving a little bit kick to these lymphatic systems so they move better. And that's why the focus is also on the yoga and exercise as well. So you can do these simple practices when, as I said, when you're doing your abhyanga or you're doing your shower. Yeah, and also you have heard of rebounder. Lots of practitioners talk about, oh, you have a trampoline where you jump on the rebounding things. That's also mainly stimulating your lymphatic system. But a lot of incidents happen about the rebounders, people fell and stuff like that. So I think this is very safe. If you have rebounder, of course you can do that, but this is a very safe and simple thing to do. Hope that's clear. Right, so now we are talking about, so that was like a little bit of your self-care, what you can add into your oral hygiene, where you're doing your tongue scraping after brushing your teeth, oil pulling, and putting a drop of like walnut oil or almond oil, or if you have sinus problem, there are medicated oil into your nostrils. So that's your self-care done. And then if you're doing your massage, your lymphatic system as well. Now we are talking about the nutrition. So Ayurveda talk about your diet should be according to your body type, so dosha specific diet. But this phase of life, diet should be more nutritious dense. Even you need older adults need more nutrition, more supplements like minerals and stuff like that than the younger people, because body need more. And what happens when people are not moving and their metabolic fire goes down and their caloric demand, the demand for the food go down, and then they don't eat much, they get anorexia, the loss of appetite, or nausea happen, and then they start losing weight. So to avoid that, you should have movement, but you should also have a very much balanced diet. So avoiding too much of bread and cheese, that kind of heavy food. And you should have more leafy greens and fruits. Like everybody, we should have all this kind of diet. But this phase of life, if we can focus a bit more on water content in the diet as well, and more fruits and more healthy nuts and seeds as well. So, as I said earlier, the incidence of people becoming underweight is more common in Ireland. Actually, in the older phase of life, people, the mortality is more around the underweight rather than obese people. So, so then even the WHO recommend people not to lose weight in this phase of life. And so no harm having a little bit more weight rather than underweight. And then according to your body type, so you eating according to your body type and all that as well. So so the nutrition needs are the same or higher than the younger adults. So it's synergy between different groups, the diversity. So diet should be more diverse. So I'm going to touch more in the next slide. So what I just put this pyramid for more understanding. So if you look at the bottom of the pyramid, and these are fruits and vegetable, which the guideline is we should have 5 to 7 servings of fruits and vegetable a day, and 3 to 5 serving of carbs. So carbs are also equally important for older adults. So carb in the form of like either whole grain or gluten-free variety like millet or buckwheat, if you can digest these kind of grains. Otherwise, rice, whole grain pasta. Avoid refined wheat like refined flour, white bread, or too much of white rice. So try to have a little bit more fiber through the carbs. So 3 to 5 servings should be the carbs. And then 3 to 4 serving is like dairy, like a pot of Greek yogurt, sugar-free Greek yogurt, low fat or full fat. That depends on your, if you're minding cholesterol and other things. But in general, for calcium and for and melatonin in the dairy and all that other benefits, 3 to 4 servings of dairy is no harm. A small amount of cheese, 100 ml, 150 ml milk, or small pot of yogurt. Usually, I think they're standard 200 ml, so that kind of stuff. And then 2 to 3 serving is your protein, which is your beans or your fish or your meat. So that should be like 2 to 3 serving per day. So maybe your lunch is you have beans, and then your dinner might have a small bit of fish cake or steak or something. A very small amount of butter spread, oil and things like that. Oil, healthy oils, like I would recommend using ghee, olive oil. These kind of healthy fats are good, but they are in moderation. And the sugary stuff like crisps and cola and chocolates, they're not every day. So you should limit those because they are highly inflammatory category of food. Right. So Healthy Ireland study, you can even check Healthy Ireland website, suggests that that diet should be high in vegetables. So the bigger part of this pyramid is the vegetable. So 300 gram per day should be your vegetable, which probably slightly difficult to achieve for most of the people. And 50 gram legume we should have, and 200 gram of fruits, and cereals, but no sugary cereals like cornflakes or any that they're very processed and very high in sugar. Instead of that, you can have quinoa porridge or buckwheat porridge or something like that, that kind of cereals, because they are not only high in minerals and they're also high in fiber. And dairy less than 300 gram, and moderate amount of meat. Yeah, you'll be surprised that meat is not recommended a lot. It's only 100 gram. Usually the meat is like the size of your palm, that much meat is recommended. Alcohol 10 gram if you drink, enjoy a bit of glass of wine or something, but not daily. That's kind of only small amount. And so basically more of a Mediterranean kind of diet where you have balance of legumes and beans and nuts as well, fruits and vegetable and small amount of fish or a bit of white meat. So that kind of diet is recommended. It's not only for older adults. I say it's good for every phase of life, that kind of balance variety in your diet. So in Ayurveda recommends small amount of spices that do flavor your food and also ignite your digestive fire a little bit, because as I said, nausea, heaviness, bloating, constipation could be common this phase of life. So on the website, there's a blend of, if you are new to spices and you don't know how to use spices, then to start with, you can start with the Vata Churna, which is a blend of spices like fennel, fenugreek, cumin seeds, turmeric, dry ginger, and they're very soothing. They're not spicy at all, very mild spices. So you use like a quarter teaspoon if you're new to the spices, and they add nice flavor. And it worked like a cube really, but much more of a healthier version of a cube. And so you can use Vata Churna, the healthy fat in moderation, very small amount ghee, which is clarified butter. So it's much lighter than the butter. And ghee has a lot of cleansing and a lot of, it is very high in butyric acid. And the research say butyric acid stimulate the growth of gut bacteria, and they help with dementia and Alzheimer's. So ghee has some that kind of benefits. So using these kind of healthy fats are recommended. But Ayurveda also say this phase of life, we should have small and regular food to stabilize the blood sugar, and should avoid too much of dry and cold and leftover kind of food. Unfortunately, lots of people could rely on those pre-ready-made meals and frozen food. But if it's possible, you cook fresh and avoid that kind of stuff. And I would recommend, yeah, mild spices to help your appetite and with other digestive issue. And in this phase of life, naturally, salivary gland produce less saliva, so dryness of mouth, sorry, dryness of mouth become very common. So you should be eating easy to digest food or well-cooked protein. So that's again the hard. If you're eating beans and things like that, make sure they are really well cooked and they are not hard, or even meat or something should be well cooked for the digestion and absorption to happen. Okay. So yeah, so in this phase of life, as I said, digestion get compromised a bit. It is weaker, so which means the nutrients are no longer able to absorb as they were doing before in the other phase of life. So Ayurveda formula and herbs are prepared in a way that they can be easily digest, giving you the greatest possible benefit. So I just wanted to show this. You don't have to get it. Just want to introduce this. Ayurveda multi-mineral is a very nice preparation and to help to absorb some of the minerals like iron, calcium in the natural form for the body. If you are somebody you cannot tolerate so much of supplements and things, and so this might be kind of help for the absorption of some of the nutrients in the body. So you have to be more mindful. The Ayurveda say you are what you eat, but the more emphasis is on you are what you digest. So make sure you digest food really well. So, and you have good supply of nutrients first from your diet as much as possible. And then if you need a little bit help of supplements and things like that. So Ayurveda multi-mineral could be one of the formula. and to support your physiology and your digestion. And then some other nutrients, because this phase of life, I say 60 onwards, the stomach hydrochloric acid naturally go down. That's something that happened with the aging, that all of us would have low stomach hydrochloric acid. And because of that, even though you're a vegetarian, non-vegetarian, your B12 level, your vitamin B's, B6 are going to go down. And that's something you need to supplement. And that is like I say, oh, I eat fish and meat, I don't need B12. So it's better to keep an eye on that, because with the aging, people have nervous system problem, burning feet, a tingling sensation. That's very common, and that could be something due to B12. And that can happen due to the gastrointestinal changing. That is something to do with the aging. So B6, B12, they all are very beneficial for our immune system. And also they also control the homocysteine level, which is related to the cardiovascular health. So if you're concerned with your heart issue and stuff like that, so the B supplement should be from your food and through the supplement. And the other major supplement that we need in this phase of life is vitamin D. We all need vitamin D because we don't get enough sun, and due to the skin issue, yeah, it's advises avoid sharp sun and stuff like that. Even people in Asian countries, they are deficient in vitamin D. So vitamin D we all should have. A standard dose of vitamin D is 800 IU. That's the minimum dosage that you take. 400 IU is a very kind of normal dosage, but if you are towards deficiency, then you go with the 800 IU. And then the calcium, if it's vitamin D is combined with calcium, and vitamin K is another one. If they're combined together, that's a very good formula. So your calcium requirement is 800 to 1000 milligram per day to avoid bone fracture and muscle strength and all of that. And then zinc is also something which can decline with the age. And so dermatitis can become very common in the old age, and reduced taste can happen due to zinc deficiency. So if you're an older adult having skin issue or having taste issue, smell issue, then the zinc might be needed. So yeah, so these are like vulnerable kind of minerals that can go down in the body by aging. So that's something if we can supplement through. Definitely again focuses on the food, but quality of the food may be down, so then you might need to supplement. But through your blood test and all that, you keep an eye so that you don't overdo it either. Right. So next requirement is protein. We definitely need very high amount of protein this phase of life. So people are normally asked the question, how much protein should I take? So the standard, like, let's say if you're 70 kilo by weight, if you multiply 70 by 1.2 grams, so we need 1.2 gram of protein per day. So 70 multiplied by 1.2, whatever, is roughly around 90 grams. So that's like you need 90 grams of protein per day. You might be a 60 kilo person, that you multiply 60 by 1.2. If you're 50 kg, 50 by 1.2. So whatever comes for you, that's the amount of protein you need in your daily diet. Again, that could be through meat or protein, legumes, tofu, stuff like that. And protein is more important to maintain muscle mass, because in this phase of life, the muscle mass, sarcopenia, that happen. And once sarcopenia happen, the musculoskeletal system affected. People kind of have round shoulders, or they have little curvature set in. The posture is affected and everything due to sarcopenia. So we should, like from 50 onward, we should kind of maintain our muscle mass. We shouldn't let it go down. Also through the exercise, we will look at that in next slides. So yeah, so to change in the muscle composition can affect the speed of muscle contraction. That's why we don't walk too fast in this phase of life. So muscle power is important for everyday activities like walking, rising from sitting position. So that can be affected with aging. So aging older adults need to pay more attention to protein in their diet. And then just a kind of intermittent fasting and autophagy. If you're a very strong digestive fire person, then no harm. But if you're a very skinny person, then you need small and regular portion of food. But if you're a well, healthy, strong person, then you can practice slightly intermittent fasting, where you have your breakfast and wait until your lunch. We should have hunger, sensation of hunger should be there. And Ayurveda suggests 12-hour fasting for everybody, which is your last meal is at 7 p.m. and you don't eat anything until 7 a.m. So that 12-hour fasting could be done for everybody. And then if you want to do any detox program, like we just finished a group of 100 people doing the detox, and some of the people were at the age of 70, and they were approved to do this because they were healthy and they meet the criteria. But it is done under supervision. So that could be done if you're struggling with inflammation or some other problem or general maintenance of your digestive system. Hydration, we all know water is very important. Again, the most common question that I'm asked or others practitioner ask for sure, how much water should and I normally get amazed when I hear from older adults that they hardly drink 2 or 3 glasses, like a half a liter a day. So then, as I said earlier, our body is 70% made up of water. We need to hydrate to avoid dryness in the joints and to even avoid fractures and the brittle bones. Water is very important. And also the water system is your garbage system as well. So for the toxins to get out of the system, water is important. So again, if 35 ml of water is body 35 ml per kg. So again, if you're 70 kg, if you multiply 70 by 35, so you're roughly kind of 2,550 ml, which is roughly 2.4 liter of water a day. So you can multiply 35 with your body weight, whatever your body weight is. So the amount of water it's giving you, you can convert that into liter easily, and that's much amount of water you need. But for simplified, between one and 1.5 liter water we should do. We shouldn't overdo it either, but 1.5 liters, so 6 to 8 glasses of water. If you have like a 150 ml kind of mug or something, so if you do 8 of those, probably you're doing good. But I think most of we don't do that. So water is also your herbal tea, your fruit juices, your flavored water, but make sure that's not sugary. Your soups, your broths, everything that all come into this calculation. If you're asked to drink 2 liters of water, so that's plain water plus your soups and your broth and everything else count into this. Okay, so make sure you drink enough water. And constipation is something that's very common this phase of life, and I think Truffula Plus is one of the most common herbs that is most selling herb. No one can tell, and 50 plus people, yeah, some of people, yeah, they could have a dry bowel movement or bowel doesn't move. So first, the focus is the dietary fibers through your diet, where I was talking about the carbs, the healthy cereals and grains. They can help. Nuts and seeds can help, but if you still have issue, then Truffula Plus is a very good herb. Plus it has rose petals added into that, which makes it very gentle on the system. And so it not only work as a digestive tonic, it's also work for detox and elimination for the system. So it could be a wonderful herb for people who suffer from nausea, gastritis, or bloating, or that kind of digestive concerns. And trifla is made up of 3 fruits. It's just fruits, and gooseberry, and some other 2 fruits are there, haritaki and vivataki, and rose petals. Okay, and rose petals are used in a jam form in India. When we were kids, our grandmother used to make that, and they are very helpful for bowel movement. I think there's a lot of fiber in it. Right, so then we are touching on the exercise now. And so that's the movement part on the hierarchy. So we have touched on the dietary part and some of self-care strategies to manage the body and stress. And now we are talking about the exercise. So physical activity is very, very important every phase of life, but especially important this phase of life in the ladies after menopause. The pelvic floor weakness is very common, so we should strengthen our pelvic floor. And in the men, the prostatitis and all those bladder issues can be there. So if you can do some yoga or Pilates classes where you are working on your strengthening and the pelvic floor, even this simple exercise, this is called bridge pose. If you practice the bridge pose as part of your daily asana or daily yoga practice, this is very good for your core muscles and pelvic floor. And so it's not only increase energy intake, it can also improve the quality of life and life expectancy. Physical activity also protect against osteoporosis, fractures, diabetes, breast, colon cancer. It improve mental health and cognitive function and reduce anxiety and depression. So physical activity is like very beneficial in many levels. I think HSC has started a program I remember now, Well Mover or something, yeah, where they are doing a program for especially people who are not able to do exercise on their own, and they bring you to the center and give you a partner to exercise, to work with you. And I think that's a very good program. It might be available in your area if you are somebody can do exercise on your own and you need some help. And then two principal form of physical activity. If you're healthy, older adult and you can manage the exercise, then you should focus on either aerobic activities like endurance activities and strength training. So simple aerobic activities are like walking, maybe a brisk walk. If you have the stamina and strength, go for a little bit stronger walk, because walking improve your heart and lung functions. And then strength training, especially for weights, for osteopenia and osteoporosis, a bit of strength training is also very kind of scientifically proven that it does help with the bone density and help with the bone and muscle and all that strength. So if you are able to do some of strength training, that's very good. So what is guideline of WHO? Ayurveda say we should do exercise according to the strength per body type. If you're a very vata person, you go for walks and you go for yoga and it may be a Pilates classes. That's wonderful for you. But avoid like strong spinning or any other strong exercises. The aqua aerobic or gentle swimming could be very beneficial. If you're a strong fire person and you have the strength to go for tennis and to go for other physical kind of sports activity, yes, go. But also the swimming and these kind of other activities could be good. But all of us should do small bit of yes, weight training as well, because they not only help our cardiac muscle for the heart function, they also, as I said, help with the biceps and these bones and these wrist bones and all that they can get weaker. So that kind of strength training, if you can do 30 minutes, and sorry, the aerobic activity is the guidelines is 30 minutes a day of moderate activity. So 150 minutes per week. So if you say 150 minutes per week, and that could be done in 2 days or 3 days, but if you spread it over 4 days, which is roughly like 30 days every day. So that's all. It's not major, really. WHO is not asking for too much exercise. So 30 minutes of daily, you go for a brisk walk or something. And then if you can combine 2 days per week, if you can do some strength training, which could be like Pilates or weight training or jogging just twice a day. And so that's like you're done. You're doing really well on the exercise side. If you're somebody say, no, I cannot do 30 minutes of weight or 30 minutes of strong endurance, then even small, shorter 10 minutes of bouts also count towards your daily target for activity. So that, okay, I have 5 kg or 2 kg weights at home. I'm only going to do for 10 minutes. That's even better than doing nothing. So that does count towards your 30 minutes. So I highly encourage you to do that kind of exercises and add into your daily routine. And older adults, yeah, be more careful. Don't get so ambitious and start doing major exercise. Just do according to your level of fitness and slowly build it up. And older adults should be encouraged. If you have a family member or somebody, you can encourage them to be active rather than sedentary. And because lack of mobility is going to cause more muscle mass loss and loss of appetite, and then yeah, they are not much independent anymore. So if they're moving, it is more depend they are more independent and they can manage their daily activities, going to the toilet and everything like that. So mobility is very, very beneficial. Right. So other important pillar is sleep. Sleep is very important. And on that hierarchy model you saw, sleep was the bigger one that is recommended. So insomnia is very common in old age. To delay the aging, if you want to slow down the aging, we should have a very good sleep, 8 hours sleep at least. So I read the advice on circadian rhythm, which I have touched a little earlier. And here in this picture, what is circadian rhythm means? When I say your Vata Pitta Kapha is different in the time of the day. So let's say the sun is rising at 6 and 6 to 10 a.m. That 4 hour window is more kapha time. So that's like a slow, kind of sluggish time of the day. So that's when we are doing our oral hygiene and we are going for a little walk and then a small breakfast if you're not too hungry, or a decent breakfast. And then 10 to 2, the sun is high in the sky. That's when your mind is sharp. You can get the work done and you can eat your main meal. And then 2 to 6, you're back to the kind of middle of the day, which is like a little bit kind of a feeling kind of a weak or wanted sugar or something. And then Ayurveda say you can do a little nap here or meditate or take it easy. And then back to the sunset, heavy time of the day. So we shouldn't eat a big dinner. This is the time, go for a walk again or spend with your family. And then 10 to 2, that's the second wind. Usually people, if they're on social media and missing the sleep, So Ayurveda say you should be in bed by 10 because 10 to 2 is the time when your liver, your organs are cleaning your body and preparing for the next day. So circadian rhythm is really, really important. But if you're not sleeping, once you kind of say, okay, I'm going to start eating my main meal in the middle of the day and I'm trying to go to bed by 10, whatever one thing you can pick and it will definitely going to help you. If you start going by bed by 10 or you start eating your main meal in the middle of the day, this is gonna help you to achieve the balance and help you to sleep better. Okay, and then slowly, slowly you can build around it other habits like self-massage or other stuff around it. So start with one thing if you're not already on the track. Okay, and Rasayana are the tonics, which I touched earlier. So Rasayanas are like a vehicle, which carry the nutrition to the deeper cells of your body. Because that there are some of the herbs or some of the supplements which could be very synthetically, and they only stay in your gut, and then once you stop taking them, you feel like weak again. So which means they're not going very deeper into your tissues. Then you need a carrier, you need a vehicle to bring them deeper to your tissues. So in Ayurveda, there are certain herbs which works like that, and they are termed rasayana. So rasa and ayana. Rasa means nutrition, and ayana means the vehicle through the circulation. It brings to the deeper level of your tissue where the nutrition is needed. So Rasayana helps to maintain vitality. It also enhances the lifespan. It improves intelligence and it boosts the physical strength and also enable the individual to overcome any disease or overall health promotion. So if you look at the study of evolution of free radical quenching property of standard Ayurvedic formulation, so anti-aging Rasayana, there are some. I'm going to name them in the next in a minute. So they reactive oxygen species, this is something that oxidation, that our cell damage, the cell death happen itself, and we need to get rid of those dead cells from our body, and that is called antioxidant. So there are some of the herbs work. So some of the herbs like amlaki, like Indian gooseberry, punarnava, Guruchi and Haritaki, Brahmi. There are many, many herbs who works like that, but just to name few, these are some of the herbs taken on their own or taken in combination with other herbs, they work as rasayana. So Brahmi is a wonderful brain tonic. When people with the aging have like a memory and all that things happen, Brahmi is a good herb. Guruchi is an overall general tonic for immune system. And so yeah, so these all herbs are rasayana. They also have a local function, but they also help the whole physiology, and they also work as a vehicle to carry the nutrition to the deeper cell of the bodies. But again, yeah, you wouldn't know on your own, so you might need the help of a practitioner to decide what kind of rasayana you need. But that's what something to introduce about rasayana, which is very much needed in this phase of life. So this is something that everybody can take. The dual pack of perfect health is called Amrit Kailash. So it comes in the form of two MA7 and MA5. So MA7 comes as a paste as well or a tablet. When it is a paste, it's a different number, MA4. Or if you want to do the tablets, then MA7, MA5, it's an overall bundle of health for your immune system, for your mind, everything. And many, I think at least 80 times these products are clinically tested by different institute, and every time it's kind of come up with wonderful antioxidant properties, very high in vitamin C than the normal vitamin C, and vitamin E as well. So it helps with the immunity, protects against premature aging. It supports the heart function, it supports general well-being and rejuvenation and detoxify and nourish. So the paste is honey and sugar. Sugar is from honey and the ghee in it. If you're avoiding due to cholesterol problem or due to any other heart issue, then I recommend the tablets. So MA7 and MA5. This is something everybody can take, and most probably in the autumn and winter time, it's a very good herb to take for immunity and cold and flu and stuff like that. And antioxidants. So in the modern world, in the Western world, we talk about antioxidants, which are similar as rasayana. And to open up the longevity pathway, I talked about the autophagy. Autophagy is when you do a longer fast, the hunger can trigger these kind of anti-aging pathway, open up the anti-aging pathway in the body, which help with the aging to look young. Not only young, they also help with the energy and other anti-inflammatory functions as well. So one of the common antioxidant in the supplement form is CoQ10. And I was talking about that you need B supplements and calcium. So one wonderful preparation which we have, or you can look outside as well, other stores, is called 50 Plus. It not only have B complex, it has vitamin D and other things, and it also has CoQ10 in it. Only thing is missing, I think calcium is not there, but almost everything else is there. So mainly the CoQ10, either you can do the CoQ10 on its own, or you can take in combination with the other supplements in it. Other antioxidants are lutein, lycopene, vitamin C, many more there. But CoQ10 is very well known. It's also known as resveratrol or ubiquinol. It comes under different names. Then mental health is also very important. Stress management. Ayurveda talk about Vata Pitta Kapha on the physiology level, and on the mental level, it talk about the sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. Sattvic, when mind is very pure and doesn't kind of wander too much, calm, and rajasic is too much restlessness is there, too many thoughts. Tamasic, dull, depressed. So these kind of quality of minds are there, which are affected by your diet and lifestyle again. So note Ayurveda suggests some good brain tonics, as I said, Brahmi. So youthful mind preparation is there if you are worried about memory, brain fog, or family history of any dementia or anything like that, then that's a good herb. And then the behavior Rasayana to keep the mind calm, less kind of involvement into stressful activities. So the behavior Rasayana is behavior conduct, ethical conduct, like being truthful, free from anger as much as possible. Like this phase of life, we should be more happy and joyful rather than getting angry or sweating the small stuff or anything like that. And try to live in more and more in peace and calm, engaging in positive, uplifting speech or uplifting environment. Always try to less is enough. So we cleaning around the house and management of the things, furniture and everything, so that there's more space to move around. Let go what you don't need, and we should have some kind of meditation practice. And if you are a younger person, then more respectful towards your teachers and elders, because we can learn a lot from them. Letting go of ego. Ego doesn't serve anyone, so better not to entertain it too much. And doing some kind of charitable work, serving others. Anyway, you can serve in any form. Balance your sleep, and when you're awake, balance that. Some people say, oh, they go to bed by 2 a.m. and they're not up until 11. That's not really a good management of your day. And showing love and compassion to, you can even have a pet and you can show the love and compassion to that to nourish your heart, and exercise and self-control around food and all that. Right, so then just quickly touching on the Panchakarma. Panchakarma is a branch of Ayurveda which offer wonderful treatments. They could be cleansing treatment, they could be nourishing treatments. So I think locally you can easily get some of the Abhyanga, the oil massage, or Shirodhara, which is the oil is poured around the head. It's very nourishing and calming treatments. But usually people travel to India or I think Germany and Italy, some places where once a year or seasonal you can get these treatments done, and they're very good treatment to slow down the aging and to enjoy the perfect health. And then just finishing with the conscious aging. So we should all be mindful about how we live our life, how we more mindful about our thoughts and transcending them if they're not beneficial to you. So the goal is to fully experience the life by being present and conscious of whatever comes our way, both the joy and the challenge. So we should be enjoying our joy, we should be enjoying our challenges. When we are more mindful, we are more aware, we can manage them better, and life is more fulfillment and happy. Right. So thank you very much. So I can take any questions.
That's great, Rajvinder. Well done. A lot of information in there, and you put it together very nicely. Um, the ones that I picked up on, I suppose, for me, I think one of the most important things I did was learn meditation, and I did that. I was lucky to do it when I was 28. I'm well in my 60s now, but I think that has allowed, when you're meditating and having a calm mind, it just allows you to make better decisions. It can be, it's such a stressful world out there, and People reach for the wrong thing when they're stressed. They reach for cigarettes. They reach for the easy option, like the processed foods. Instead of going out for a walk, they just watch TV or something like that. So I think having a meditation technique, it doesn't have to be TM. It could be mindfulness. It could be some prayer technique or something like that. But anything that calms your mind down, then that allows you to make better decisions about your health. That's for sure. The other thing I think that stands to me very well is exercise. But I love being outdoors. I just love being outdoors. So, I mean, you're saying 30 minutes there or 150 minutes a week. I'd be doing 150 minutes a day. So, I mean,
That's
I love going walking.
amazing.
And I think everybody should try, if you can, if you have the stamina, when you do get up in the morning at 6 o'clock, especially now because it's bright at 6 o'clock, go out for a walk in the morning sun. It's a really, really good thing to do. Just get outdoors, get that fresh air into your lungs. It's a great way to start your day, even if it's just walking around your garden, or even if it's a 5 minute walk around the block, just to get out of your house and have that little walk, and then do all the daily routine that you were suggesting there. I actually think I would say my 60s have been my favorite decade so far because, there's so much stuff gone past that you don't have to worry about anymore. Anymore. I don't have a mortgage or anything like that. So there's none of that. And you can just start enjoying things, and you have a certain, I don't tend to get worked up over it. As you say, don't sweat the small stuff. So definitely I think people should be able to have a healthy and a happy aging. But of course, you're not going to have a great time in your old age if you've got a lot of chronic diseases. So the best thing to do is try to avoid them by, eating healthily, doing those abhyangas, doing all the things that you suggested in there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to share my screen before we come back to taking the questions, because I want to show people where our website is. Okay, so this is our website. Can you see it on the screen, Rajvinder?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So this is ayurveda.ie. We also have a UK website because we have so many customers in the UK as well, but they're basically the same website. So I want to show you this course here for people who haven't done it. It's a free 7-lesson course because for new people, I think there might have been a lot of new terminology there that you might not have been so aware of. Things like Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, the three doshas. So this course that we did during lockdown and COVID, we ran it several times, and then we took the best of the videos to put this course together. And we've had, I mean, just thousands upon thousands of people do this course. So basically, we have 3 doctors doing this course. We've Dr. Brennan, we've Dr. Rajvinder, and we've Dr. Naheed. And we also have another lecture by Dr. Chaitrali as well. Like, it's an introduction to Ayurveda, and then it talks about the 3 doshas, Vata, Pitta, Kapha. The one that's very important is the Vata one. And Vata is air and space. And actually, in Ayurveda, most diseases are associated with an imbalance of Vata. And then it also talks about the rhythm of nature. So it goes very much in depth into the daily routine and the seasonal routine. Rajvinder touched on it there, but it goes in depth into that. And then it goes into digestion, how to maintain a strong digestion and how important it is to have a strong digestion. And then it also talks about the 6 stages of disease. And each of the lessons is followed by a Q&A. And there's some very nice testimonials. There's one from John Duffy, MD. John lives up on Aaronmore off Donegal. He's an elderly man, but he did the course. He was a cardiologist in Galway. And he just talks about it there. So in order to do that course, you just go onto that link and then put in your name, your last name, and your email, and then we send out the lessons. So we highlight that very much on our website. It's free online Ayurveda course. And then we do have some webinars here if there's something that you're particularly interested in. I think the brain health webinar for everybody getting older, that's how to prevent dementia, how to maintain a healthy brain. I think it's done by Dr. Rajvinder and Dr. Brennan. So it's a great, I think Dr. Naheed might be in it as well, but it's a great webinar. And then we have anxiety, psoriasis, sinusitis, tinnitus. And then over here, we have the menopause, endometriosis, migraine. And we add webinars onto that all the time. And each of those webinars is about between 1 and 2 hours long. So if there's any of those topics that interest you, you can take a look at that. But I encourage everybody to do the online Ayurveda course. If you want to find any of the supplements that Dr. Rajvinder spoke about there, she did mention Cytoplan. So we sell this particular one on Dr. Brennan's recommendation because they tend to be food state vitamins and minerals. So you can see vitamin D there and 50 plus and vitamin C and all the different ones. So you can use the search box here. So Rajvinder mentioned Brahmi. So you can see we've Brahmi capsules and Brahmi powder and Brahmi ghee. So you can find anything you just using the search engine there. And the UK website is rulan.co.uk. We have probably more customers in the UK than we have in Ireland. So we have that website. It's the same website, except all the products are given in sterling rather than in euros, you know. And all the details, if anybody wants to have a consultation with Dr. Rajvinder, her details are there. Probably best to email her rather than ring her because she's a busy woman. She mightn't get to answer your call. But Rajvinder does Zoom consultations as well as in-person consultations. But if that's something you'd like to do later on. But as I say, the free online Ayurveda course is a great thing to do, you know. So I'm going to stop the share and I'm going to go and I'm going to take a look at some of these questions here. I see we've quite a lot coming in. So some of them were. Okay, Alison, I'll get back to you about that. I think you sent me an email about that earlier on, you know. Uh, what does Ayurveda recommend for protein in porridge? I hear a lot lately that porridge does not have enough protein. How should protein be added? Any suggestions on that? Oh, okay. I have to unmute you. Just hang on a second, Raj. So you should be able to unmute yourself, Dr. Rajvinder.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, protein may not be too much protein in the porridge, a small bit, but you can add maybe some of the nuts, like not too many, one or two at a time, because the digestion could get affected by it. If you're adding almond milk or normal milk, that can give you some protein. But I encourage people to have variety. So sometimes you have millet porridge. Nowadays, you can easily get millet flakes, which could be high in kind of calcium and some protein you can get. And some of the other day you can boil the quinoa and cook it like a porridge kind of texture. So quinoa would have protein. So try not to stick to the porridge all the time. Change with the season. So this time of the year, it's a good time to include these kind of lighter grains. And later on in autumn and winter, you might like to go back to your oats porridge because some people don't react very well to the oats. So then I suggest them to have millet or different kind of grains for their porridge. And they do well. They start liking it. And then if you're making like buckwheat flour pancake and then the mung beans and that kind of lentils and stuff like that, uh, some people do. I know that will be more of a savory thing if you're adding beans, but like a pancake made from, if you soak your lentils overnight and you blend them like a pancake kind of texture and make a wrap or pancake like that. So you can have it, you can blend spinach and some other things with it. So that way that could be, and you can add a scrambled egg in it or tofu or something. So that could be also a protein breakfast. So look for other things. Yeah, porridge may not be enough. So on regular basis, that doesn't give you enough variety either. So I said the diversity should be there in your diet. So try to have a different grain or every week something different you can try.
Yeah, and you can always get protein in another
Yeah.
meal anyway with other things, you
Yeah.
know. So Anita
You can
says, will
cook
the
a
pres
moong. You can sorry, no. You can cook moong and a millet kind of soup where you can easily incorporate millet into your diet. Millet is, I think it was there in the past and it disappeared, but it's coming back again. So yeah, some seeds and pumpkin seeds, or somebody said chia seeds here, chia seeds. Yeah, small amount of nuts and seeds definitely could help us. Yeah.
will this presentation be shared? Absolutely. We'll send a recording of it tomorrow. What is the most effective form of Ayurvedic collagen to take?
Indian gooseberries are actually very good. Amla is very good, and then there's a particular herb called shilajit. That's also shilajit should be pure, and this is difficult to find. So make sure you get it from a good source. We have that in our preparation, Vital Man or tonic for late woman tonic. They both have shilajit in it. And then some other, there is actually a gum raisin, which is called gur gum. I'll type it in later. And all you need is, it's like a gum from the tree that's collected. And you put 3 or 4 into the water overnight. And in the morning, it become like a shredded ice, really. But it is like that kind of gum. And it is collagen. And you can add into your porridge. You can add into a little bit of lemon water and just take as it is. Very handy to use. And traditionally in Asia, where the heat is too much, they drink that a lot in the summertime. I'll type
Okay.
that in.
So, Age and Opportunity offer many short exercise lessons on YouTube for older adults. Yeah, I'm sure there's lots you can get on YouTube, and we have done some yoga classes ourselves, which we'll make available to people. Yoga is a great way because there's all different levels of yoga, and just to do light yoga, just to keep the joints very mobile and build up strength. So that's a really, really good thing to do. Obviously, depending on what age you are and your level of flexibility, you just have to be a little bit of careful about exercise. But and then if you haven't been doing any, just start building it up gradually. I mean, we did chair yoga, one of our last courses that we did. We did yoga that you can do just sitting in a chair. But obviously, if you can do more, then do more. And as I say, I think walking in nature is one of the best things that you can do. Some Ayurvedic literature advises not to combine ghee with honey as it's very poisonous. Yes, I've
Yeah,
heard
the
that before.
equal amount of honey and ghee is poisonous, so it should never be combined in equal proportion. But if the proportion of one is more than the other, then it's all right. Yeah, it's the equal amount.
Okay, so Jane Stacy says gives the website for Rendlesham. So that's I know Dr. Rajvinder mentioned going to India and Germany and Italy, but there are two great Panchakarma centres in the UK. One is in Skelmersdale, and the other one is which is up near Liverpool, and the other one is in the south, which is Rendlesham. And Jane has put the address in for that. I myself have done Panchakarma, those purification techniques in Skelmersdale. I've done them in India a lot as well. I haven't been to Rendlesham yet. It's on my list of places to go. But the one in Skelmersdale is lovely, and I'm sure the one on Rendlesham is equally as good. Ang says, thank you, amazing. Thank you very much, Rajinder. Thank you for a great talk. Is it okay to drink 3 mugs of masala Ayurvedic chai every morning before 10 a.m.?
Before 10 a.m., 3 months. Uh,
Have a
if
laugh.
it doesn't have caffeine, then I presume if it's chai, then it has caffeine. So 3 mugs of caffeine in a short window might be too much. So can you spread it through the day, maybe?
Yeah. So Regina asks, how long should we take 50 plus for before taking a break, please?
You do that like for 3 months and take a week off and then you go back again. Depends on if you are dealing with anything specific, but in general, I usually say maybe in the summertime you don't need that many supplements, so give a break to your system in the summer and you take it like twice a week. And then in autumn and winter, yes, this body need more a kind of support from vitamin D and the antioxidants and all that stuff. So you take regularly for those season and take a little break in the summer.
Yeah, it's interesting. I myself, I mean, I'm not on any medication and I don't even really have a doctor, but I'm very fortunate that I do work with doctors. But I do get my bloods done. I try to get my bloods done once a year. I did get them done when I was in India at Christmas time, and I actually give the report to a few people because different people can pick up different things. So I gave it to Dr. Brennan and I gave it to Dr. Rajvinder, and there was no major green lights, probably a little bit of excess fat around my stomach, but one of the things that Dr. Brennan said to me, he said, your B12 and your vitamin D, he said, like they're coming in the green light. They're both within the recommended amounts, but he said they're both at the lower ends of the recommended amount. So he suggested that I supplement. He said it's better, especially with B12, to have it at the higher end of the recommended amounts. So I have been supplementing with B12 and D3. Not sure again how long I'll do that for, but I'll do it for, and I don't always remember to take them either. That's the problem, but I'll do it for a while anyway. But I would recommend that people like it's important. Like I get the PSA levels and a lot of different things that you can check. So it's handy to get your bloods done just to see if anything's happening, and then you can take corrective action. My preferred corrective action is always through diet and lifestyle and through Ayurveda. But there are probably different ways of
Take a
doing
little
that.
bit of 50 plus, yeah.
50 plus is a great one. Yeah. Cytoplan 50 plus is a
Somebody
great one because it's
asking,
got everything in it.
do you take it
So,
sometimes?
sorry,
Somebody asking later on, do you take any supplement? I just taking the
me?
question. Yeah.
Well, as I said, Dr. Brennan told me I recommended I take B12 and D3, even though I was surprised my vitamin D was down because I'm outdoors all the time. But yeah, maybe I'll have to start walking around with my shirt off or something like that to get more sun on my skin. But yeah, but they weren't. I mean, they weren't low. They weren't down low, but they were at the lower end of the correct scale. So, and then I will use Ayurvedic herbs if I need them. Like I do play. I do play a fair bit of tennis, and sometimes I might take something like MA574 just to help deal with inflammation, if you've had a really tough game of tennis or something like that. And then Triphala, I think I use Triphala. I don't take it all the time. I go on and off it, but I do think it's a fantastic herbal preparation. I think it's probably the best of them, really, in a way. Uh, does sesame oil for massage have to be cold pressed organic? It's better if it is. It's better if it is organic because otherwise you could be rubbing just pesticides into your skin, and cold pressed is always better because it just doesn't destroy the quality of the oil. So if you can get cold pressed organic, go for it. Besides strength opening, what else will improve osteopenia?
Strength training and then good source of vitamin D, definitely you need, and then more calcium in your diet. And if you have like a supplement, calcium doesn't it's more kind of a combination of vitamin D with calcium and vitamin K in it. And then your diet has to be more leafy greens and protein like beans and legumes and a bit of animal protein if you eat that. So yeah, more focus on diet and exercise. Yeah.
What about MA925, herbal calcium rich? Is that a
Yeah,
good one for
herbal
that?
calcium. Yeah, so calcium through food, and then supplements like we have CalciaCare, which is naturally it's not harvested from seed, the lab grown corals and things like that. So the way they are manufactured in synergy with other herbs, it helps to increase the absorption of calcium through the food. So some of those kind of herbs could be beneficial. Yeah, and then regular massage with the sesame oil could be good as well. So working on your lymphatic system, working on your circulatory system. So everything you have to really manage it is something that the level you are in, at least try not to go down more and more. You can establish it, just settle it there and hard to probably reverse it, but not to let go down more.
So lots of people thanking you for your presentation, Rajvinder, and it's fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Rajvinder and Noel. It's more Dr. Rajvinder than me. Thank you very much, Dr. Rajvinder. Thanks very much. Agnes, thanks very much, Rajvinder and Noel. Thank you, Dr. Rajvinder and Noel. Thank you for this helpful webinar. How to lower homeocysteine levels.
Homocysteine level, as I said, antioxidants, that's kind of oxidation happening in your body. So definitely take CoQ10. Leafy greens are very good, especially now coming in the season. Chards and pak choi and fennel bulbs, those kind of greens we should have. I think we usually don't really include them. We go for standard ones, broccolis, peas, and carrots, but try to have more greens in your diet and drink more water. Might have to do a little bit of anti-inflammatory or detox or something.
Okay, so
Omega oils are also good if you're taking any omega.
Antoinette says Gaurav Mahabat. What's the best oil for oil pulling? I would say sesame oil. Maybe Dr. Rajendra will say something
Coconut,
else.
yeah. You're a very picky person then. And now coming to the summer, you can do coconut as well, yeah.
So mung beans are high in protein, that's right. And even better would be mung dal. High in protein and very easily digestible, especially for Vata people. Chia seeds for protein. What do you think of tofu for protein?
Yes, tofu is good. Yeah, I mentioned that tofu, yeah, absolutely. Have organic tofu.
Is spelt okay for breakfast?
Yeah, spelt is okay, but I will emphasize on the variety. So try not to stick to, okay, that's it for the breakfast. Try to have a few things. So someday you have maybe if you eat egg or like an omelette or boiled eggs, or someday you have a porridge, or someday you have pancakes and that kind of, yeah, try to have variety.
Is gur gum same as goons
Yeah,
katira?
don't put here. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you've answered that. Yeah. What food contains vitamin K?
Vitamin K is high, like banana, and then again all the leafy greens, chard, pak choi, mustard greens, collards, these kind of kale, spinach, boiled spinach. These are high in vitamin
Okay.
K.
So Surya, are you on any supplements? That could have been you as well as me. But anyway,
I knew you
Minaxi,
were going to ask you that.
Dadwad, stiff joints. What is advisable, please? Stiff joints, lots of Abhyanga for sure. Lots of massage.
Joint
Uh,
food oil is very good for
joint
that.
suit oil, yeah, MA939. Maybe joint suit tablets. I would say a consultation. Find out. Talk to a Vijay. Have a consultation
Yeah.
with a Vijay and find out exactly what's going on. And what is PSA level? That's to do with your prostate. Too much calcium can cause side effects. Possibly too much of anything can cause side effects, I
If it's a
imagine.
very synthetic form of calcium that can cause calcification, that's why I emphasize it's through the food or through natural supplements of calcium like CalciCare or if your calcium supplement could be from seaweeds or that kind of marine calcium, or if calcium is combined with vitamin K and vitamin D and magnesium, some of the other minerals with it, then it is less harmful. Yeah.
Usually kale in the shops is ready chopped. Does this lose some of the vitamins? Uh, well, I buy kale, but it's not chopped. It's just the leaves. So I'd say get it as unprocessed as possible. I know chopping isn't a big amount of processing, but it's still a level of processing. So get it as unprocessed as possible. If you can, I'm always telling people this. There are more and more organic farm shops popping up all over the place. I'm really lucky. I have a great one beside me, McNally Family Farm in North County Dublin. Just fantastic, huge variety of stuff, all grown, picked on the day, and you go in and just get it. And there must be more and more of them. I know there's one. I was in Sligo recently, and there's one at the foot of Knocknarea, and they must be popping up around the place. So
Yeah.
go and support that. That's a
Yeah,
really good thing to support.
they would have some of the stuff that you don't get in supermarket, like broccoli sprouts or those purple little broccoli things. And then they sell dandelion, lemon balm, these kind of other things that you would normally see in the supermarket. So yeah, if you have access to farmer shop, that's brilliant.
Any suggestion for chronic fatigue on back of long COVID? Have been taking ashwagandha and tulsi and astragalus rotating. Are these good choices? Seem to help.
Ashwagandha
Was
balm,
this
yeah, struggles is good. Yeah, yeah. Try Amrit Kalash because that's something like you have a lot of oxidation happen to the body after the COVID, so you need a good antioxidant.
We have some webinars about COVID where Dr. Brennan spoke about it and the effects of it on our YouTube channel. So you should go and look at that. Does overcooking kill nutrients like in curries? Uh, I think it's not a good idea to overcook. It's a good idea to cook correctly,
Oh,
um,
absolutely.
so that you get that you get the most out of it. I'm not sure what you mean, like in curries.
Beans and stuff like that has to be cooked really well so you can digest. That's why you're adding churna or some of the spices, but don't overcook and fast like to overheating as well. So slow cooking, what is Ayurveda recommend? So medium heat or avoiding microwave and that kind of cooking. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to end up now. We're just coming up to 9 o'clock. We just have one or two more. Do you need to take vitamin K with vitamin D?
If you're on a very high dosage of vitamin D, yes, then if you're only 400 IU or 800 IU, no, not really. But some people might be on 3000 IU due to some other issues, then it's better if it is combined with vitamin K.
My hemoglobin is low. How can I increase it? I presume that's what it is.
Yeah, well, add more iron to the food, like beetroot, spinach, that kind of thing. And we have iron absorbed supplement, which is natural iron, and a good like Floradex or something, that kind of iron supplement, which doesn't give you constipation. So yeah.
Okay.
Look
What can
into
I take for information? Love the presentation. Turmeric would be one thing that would spring to mind, but
turmeric,
MA574 as well.
moringa is also very good. Amla is very good. So depends on what kind of inflammation.
Okay, and we're going to finish with one last question. Are Puka brand teas great for organic herbal teas? I liked Puka, Sebastian Paul, the guy that originally set up the company. I have his book back there actually, and Puka brands, and they used to do herbals as well. They were taken over by some large food manufacturer. I can't remember which one, but
Procter
one
and
of the
Gamble.
really big ones. Sorry,
Procter and Gamble.
I don't think it was Procter and Gamble, but they were taken over by one of those type of companies. So I can't. I know Sebastian was a very, very ethical guy, very ethical. I think everything he produced would have been top class. I'm not saying that they're not. I don't know. I like them as a brand of tea. They're everywhere. Uh, so I think if they're say organic, I think they're probably fine. Probably fine. Uh, have you experience of using them, Rajvinder?
Yeah, they're fine. Yeah, a lot of people use them. Yeah, I say they are. I'm
Okay,
not
okay.
sure. Yeah, I don't really use them myself too much. I just use my own spices, but and they're very pricey as well. So yeah.
Yeah, well, we have teas on our website as well. Like we've Vata Pitta Kapha teas, and we have bee trim tea, and we have peace at night tea, and a few other
There's
teas
a
as
bit
well.
of other variety like cinnamon on its own, and yeah, for variety it's very good. But
Okay. Okay. All right, everybody. Listen, thanks very much for coming along and joining us. We still have 106 on the call. A big thank you to Dr. Rajvinder for putting all of that together. It's a great presentation. I think it's valuable for everybody that, just to give you the information you need to go forward to have a healthy and happy old age. It should be a great time of life, really. In some ways, you should be enjoying your children and your grandchildren, and hopefully your financial worries are over. Maybe for some people they're not, but it definitely should be a good time of life when you have some wisdom. So thanks very much, everybody. Thank you. And we're back on again. Dr. Chaitrali is doing a webinar on hemorrhoids coming up in May. I'll send a link out to that. I did a TM introductory talk. I hope you all got to see that. Anyone that hasn't learned TM, you can just look at that to find out about a meditation technique. There's TM teachers all over the place if you wanted to learn. We have a cookery course coming up with Dr. Chaitrali as well. We'll have some more webinars with Dr. Rajvinder later on in the summer. So thank you very much, everybody, and I'll send a recording of this out. And thanks very much, Dr. Rajvinder.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care, everybody. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.